Hi, welcome to episode 474 of The Corner of Knit and Tea. My name is Laura. I'm also known as Fluffy Kira on Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, which is where this episode and every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop called The Corner of Knit and Tea, where I sell my hand-spun yarn and patterns. Hi, how are you? It is Monday, May 13th. I hope that you are having a good week. I am coming to you from just outside of Kansas City, or kind of a Kansas City suburb on the Kansas side, and it is a gray and cloudy day, but not cold here. It got up to almost 80 yesterday, but it is just overcast. It has been raining on and off. We've had some thunderstorms, and so it is just kind of a gloomy day, but very spring-like for the Midwest. I hope that you are doing well and had a good weekend. We had kind of a whirlwind weekend. I went on a trip back east. We went to Providence, Rhode Island for, well, close to 48 hours, but not quite. My second cousin, once removed, had her bat mitzvah this weekend, and so Wes and I went. We met my parents there, my aunt and uncle were there, and then a whole bunch of cousins, some of whom I've never even met, but all of them go through. So my mom's first cousin was the grandmother of the girl who was the bat mitzvah. So, and my mom was actually born in, she was born in Providence, Rhode Island, and lived there until she was almost a teenager. And so for her, it was a very nostalgic trip, and the temple is very, very old. It's well over 100 years old. And so her family helped, not build the temple, but helped raise funds for the temple. And so it has been like kind of a long family connection, but I don't have a lot of connection with the history. Like, I have cousins who are around, or second cousins who are around my age, and it was nice to see them. It had been 10 years since I've been to Providence the last time I was there. Well, no, I should say the last time I was in Providence was 17 years ago, when the bat mitzvah's parents got married, and unfortunately they're no longer married, but that was the last time I was there and in the same temple, and so it was a really nice event. I am not particularly religious, my family is not, but it was just a really nice event. She did wonderfully, and we all got to see each other and catch up, and it was a good weekend. It was long, it took a lot out of me, but we got home Sunday afternoon, late Sunday afternoon, and grabbed some sandwiches for dinner, and then last night I hung out with my knitting group a little bit and just kind of unpacked and settled back in, and then today it's right back into work. So that's kind of what's been going on with me. I did take a couple crafting projects with me, and I will show you the progress or lack thereof that I made on them. Yeah, so let's get into the crafting chat. Today I am drinking French cookie tea. So, and this is from the Friday afternoon tea shop, and I bought this ages ago. This is black tea, sliced almond, orange peel, natural vanilla, and almond flavorings. So it tastes lovely, and I am enjoying it in a mug that was actually a gift to me. This is from, no, I take it back. It is from Always Azul Pottery. I got this at I think a Renaissance craft festival, Renfest, when it came here, and there is a potter there that is from Colorado, and they are always at the Renfest every year, and so I got this mug from them a while ago. So that is what I am drinking this afternoon. Black tea, a little sweet, a little almond, lovely. So let's talk about the crafts. I have a little bit of knitting, a little bit of embroidery, and a little bit of spinning for a change. So on my trip, I took a pair of socks that I had cast on a while ago. I have them here, but I wasn't really planning to talk about them because I made almost no progress. I pulled them out to knit on once, and I did maybe like 10 rounds, and that was it. And the rest of the time I worked on my embroidery. So just to keep me honest and to show you where I'm at, I showed you these, I think last week. These are Freya Fine Hand Paints. It is her Shanico Super Rush Merino. It is really amazing, and she dyes them in two equal balls. You can't see there you go. You can see the light green in there. This is the colorway Chameleon, and these are perfectly matched, so theoretically will produce two identical socks. I am knitting a 2 at a time pattern on one needle, magic loop. I think it's called 2 at a Time Magic Loop Socks it's a Knit Picks pattern, and it is available on the Knit Picks website, so I will go ahead and put a link to that in the show notes. I knit these as a sample this past fall. I knit a couple pairs of them, and I wanted to knit a pair of them for myself, and I had basically finished the toe increases when I started on this weekend trip, so I got maybe, well, not quite an inch, maybe just about an inch, so just a little bit, basically from this point to up here. That's what I completed on the trip. It is 2, but it's really not very much. I didn't have any pain while knitting, which was actually nice. I did realize once we started traveling through the airport and I was hefting my suitcase and my purse and stuff, I was like, oh, I should put my wrist brace on because I don't really want to re-injure my wrist. And then I was like, oh, am I going to be able to knit because I have to deal with luggage? It turned out my husband helped me with the luggage. It wasn't a big deal. I didn't re-hurt my wrist. My arm actually feels pretty good. And so I did get to knit a little bit, but I just didn't do that much. So, yeah. So the knitting that I did before I left, I actually am almost at the end of my next garter stitch scarf. So for those of you who haven't been with me for a while, or even for those of you who have, I have been battling a little bit of tendonitis. It started at the very beginning of April. I went through a couple weeks of physical therapy, and to sort of get back into knitting without any pain, I decided I was going to do a bunch of garter stitch scarves because it was worsted weight, it was kind of medium-sized needles, and then I could do nothing but the knit stitch. I didn't have to purl. That's not because I don't care to purl, it's because purling I twist my wrist, and I was trying to not twist my wrist as much, and so I just decided that straight knitting would be like a good way to sort of get back into it while I was trying to, I had to drop it for a few weeks. So this is the second of the garter stitch scarves. I finished the first one already, and basically what I have done is I went through all of my scraps and pulled out everything from about sport weight, DK weight, worsted weight, maybe a Aran weight, and divided them into a bunch of different color groupings, and have been knitting some garter stitch scarves where I change colors every row, and then I tie the ends together into fringe. And so I finished the first one, and I am just about at the finishing point on the second. The first one was greens and pinks, and this one is much more jewel tones, but I have some orange and some blue and lots of pinks and purples, and here is where I am at. And as you can see, I am not quite 6 inches wide, but I am getting really close, and I am starting to run out of a lot of colors, which is perfect. That's exactly what this is for, when I can actually use up the colors. It's great. As you can see, I am knotting my fringe as I go, and then what I will do is when I finish, I will lay it under my quilting ruler and use the rotary cutter to cut them all off. That is a fabulous tip to get everything nice and even. You just lay it out and you kind of lay it on the quilting grid, and then I just figure out whatever the shortest bit of fringe is, and I cut them all that same length. And with the rotary cutter, I do it all at once, and there's no trimming up with the scissors to try and make it straight. So that is what I've been working on. This one is almost done. I would guess that I'll finish it tonight or tomorrow night. I don't know exactly how many more rows I'm going to go. I'm going to try and use up maybe a couple more colors and finish it up, and then I will still have some reds and pinks that I had so many of that I won't be able to finish them up. And so that will go back in the bin for something else. So that is the one that I am currently working on. I can't decide if I'm going to do another garter stitch scarf or if I'm going to go into something else. I would really like to knit myself a summer top. And while I have a bunch of different options for that, and I would really like to do something with the linen and cotton that I have, I think I want to go gentle on my wrist for just a little bit longer. I do still have just a little bit of pain in some of the rehab exercises they're having me do, and she basically told me there was one exercise that, like, when I had no more pain, I was really done, and I'm not really done yet. So because I'm still having just a little bit of pain in that. So I don't know. I'm either going to go ahead and start one more garter stitch scarf, or I might start a top for myself. I'm thinking something actually very much like this. This is Jessie Made Design classic V-neck ribbed tank, I think, cropped rib. I know that I made it longer, and I know that I made it much longer than it was before, and that I don't think I made the V quite as deep. I think I knit up just a little bit further before I split for the neck. I really like this one. I knit this in 2 skeins of fingering weight, and I knit it a couple of years ago. And so I don't know if I'm going to use this pattern or if I'm going to go ahead and use something else. I kind of would like to do a top down, either a V or scoop neck, and then just do something really simple that lets the yarn shine. And I have a big oversized skein of it's like 1,100 yards, and I just bought it at the most recent Knitting in the Heartland convention. It is a merino and rayon, and I think it will be really, really nice and drapey as a summer top. So if I can come up with like a nice plain tee where I don't have to do too much, I don't want to do a lot of knitting and purling, a lot of twisted stitches. I really want to keep it fairly simple, just to give my wrist a little bit more time to heal up. But I would love to knit myself another top for summer, because I wear the snot out of these all summer long, the summer tees that I have. So I don't know whether there's going to be another like I said, I don't know whether there's going to be another, there might be one more garter stitch scarf in my future right now, or I will start a top. And if there is a garter stitch scarf in my future, and please excuse the crinkling, I didn't unload it all, what I have done is I have put together kind of all the blues and greens in my stash. I still have some greens left over from before, and some that have some blue in them, and so I kind of put together all of those in here. The one thing that I don't have in here, I do have some lights and darks, which I think makes for a great scarf. The one thing that I don't have is I don't have kind of a contrast color, and on a lot of the others I've had a contrast color. On the blue and green or on the green and pink I had like the greens and the pinks, and then on the blues and purples and reds here I also had some orange. There's not a ton of variety in these colors, so I don't know exactly how I'm going to feel about this, and it's not actually a ton of yarn now that I'm looking at it, so I may see if I can find something else. Maybe I'll just pull some grays, because I do have this blue that looks a lot like gray here at the end, so, and I did have a bunch of grays, so maybe I'll pull some gray in here. But this would be the next kind of leftovers scarf that I would be trying. And so we'll see if that's what I end up doing, or if I end up going for something else instead. I do have quite a few in here, and actually I even have a little bit of mohair in here, and I thought about just putting that in this one anyway, just because it's all the leftovers from the stuff that I've done, and I think it would just be really nice. So I might start this next. I am really a blues girl, so not sure. You'll see next week, because that first one will definitely be done, and then the question is what I will cast on next. So I haven't decided yet. So you might have guessed appropriately where I spent most of my time this week is my embroidery piece, and actually I am almost done. So that is where I spent a lot of time on the planes and in the airports, and it was just comfortable to do, and I kind of enjoyed it. So I am working on a kit from Jessica Long Embroidery, and it looks like this. It is embroidered roses with lots of leaves and vines, and then it says, "This took forever." And I wanted to try this kit both because I really liked the way it looked, but also because it gave me a bunch of new techniques to learn. The things I haven't done before is I haven't done a lot of satin stitch before, and there is tons of satin stitch on here. There's also a fishbone stitch, which looks a little bit like a satin stitch, but it does some crisscrossing so that it almost looks like fish bones. These are more satin stitches. The two things, well, the one big thing that I have yet to conquer is I need to learn how to do French knots to do a lot of these little details, the red dots and then all the green dots at the center of the roses, and I have not done that yet. But this is mostly done. Basically what I have is I have the lettering, and then I have the French knots, and then I am done. So well, and then the back and finishing and that kind of stuff. So this is where I'm at, and as you can see, I got lots done. I had the roses done before I left, but then I started on the leaves and all the vines, and so that is what I spent most of my time on this weekend, and I am really, really pleased with it. It looks really nice. I got lots of practice. I feel like I learned some new stitches and how to do some things, and I am very, very excited to kind of finish this one up. So that's what I was working on. So I'll do the lettering tonight, and then I'll probably think about some of the French knots, and then I will need to just finish off the back. The back actually is fairly neat. I'm very excited about this because I did pull a few threads across rather than knotting and starting over, but otherwise I pretty much pretty much kept things pretty nice and clean. So I believe the next project that I will work on, there is another kit that I want to order, but I'm going to be good and I'm going to do that Christmas kit next. So that is what I will work on next, and I will probably have that started by the time I see you next week. So that is what I'm working on right now. So that kind of brings me to the finish of the crafts that I have been spending the most of my time on, but I do have a surprise finish. I finished the spin that was on the wheel. This is actually the spin that was on the wheel when I started to have trouble with my wrist. So this has probably been on the wheel for 6 or 7 weeks, 8 weeks at this point. This is Gritty Knits. It is her Rambouillet, I think. Yes. Yeah. In the colorway Shockwave, which is primarily purple, but then it has bits and pieces of like a neon pink. It's got some yellow, it's got some orange, it's got some blue. There are all kinds of colors in here, but then kind of the base is purple. I plied this up before I left, and then I wound it off. Finished plying it on Wednesday, and then I wound it off the wheel today, and I need to wash it and dry it and then measure it. But my guess is it's between 375 and 400 yards of a squishy yarn. It would be great for all kinds of fun accessories. It is not superwash, but it will be lovely, and it's bright and fun. So that is what I will wash this week, and then this will also be up in the shop a little bit later this week. So that is kind of what I'm working on. And then I did pick out another spin. Pardon me for just a minute. I meant to bring this over before I started. I picked out another fiber to start spinning. I don't know how long this will take me. It will eventually go up in the shop, but I just can't tell you how long it will take me because I just don't know at this point. I will work on spinning it at my knit nights, and we'll just see how my wrist feels. And because I can get in maybe half an hour of spinning before my wrist starts to bug me. And again, I'm just trying to kind of baby my wrist and, get through this, rehab it. I'm vamping because I'm braiding it. It was a Hello Yarn. It was actually our March 2024 Fiber Club. So if you were in the Fiber Club, you should have gotten it. It would have shipped out at the end of March and arrived kind of beginning to mid-April. And it is just a really pretty kind of pinks and peaches, and it's called Sunburst. It actually reminds me of Starburst candy, like lemon and strawberry and peach and all the great colors. And so that is what I'm going to work on next. This is an organic Polworth wool top, so it is not superwash, but it is super soft, and it reminds me of summer stone fruits and just all kinds of lovely summer adventures, popsicles. So it's bright and cheerful, and I think that's going to be the next spin on my wheel. Again, I don't know when it will be done, but it will eventually go in the shop. So if it's something that you think appeals to you, that will eventually be there. So I think that's about all I have for you today. I actually did more crafting this week, or kind of have finished more crafting to show you this week. I am likely going to be taking on chickens again soon, and but I do think that my crafting is going to be a little bit slower going forward. I think I'm going to be a little bit more mindful about how much I'm trying to put my wrist through, and make sure that I'm really kind of well healed before I try and up production anymore. And even at that, I think I may try and hold back a little bit because I would like to not repeat this. It hasn't been that much fun. But yeah, I think that's about where I'm at. So this has been kind of a short one, but I hope that you're doing well. I did see the first rumblings about Tour de Fleece teams, and so I need to go check that out. I thought I would do another team this year. I hope that some of you spinners are interested in joining. If you are, leave me a comment and let me know. But my thought was that I would do a team again this year, even if I can't spin a ton. If you haven't been with me for very long, I host a spinning team for Tour de Fleece, which is kind of a spinners, not competition, but a spinning event that runs concurrently with the Tour de France. I did check in the dates for the Tour de France this year. It starts on June 29th. Yes, June 29th and runs through July 21st. And it started as a Ravelry event. So technically it is hosted on Ravelry, and that is where I officially register the team. However, I like to make it participatory in kind of all different venues. So what I do is I come up with a team hashtag, and then you can, if you would like to participate, you just let me know that you would like to participate. You can post and share your progress and cheer others on, either on Ravelry, on Instagram, or on Facebook. I do have a Facebook group for the group, and any one of those, if you would like to participate in any one of those spots, that's fine. We don't have to participate in all of them, and you certainly don't have to pick a specific platform. Like I said, I just want as many people as would like to participate as possible. I have very few rules about the Tour de Fleece. Basically, spin what you want. Spin between the 29th of June and the 21st of July. And like I said, let me know you're on the team. Share your progress. The more you post and share photos and comment on other people's photos and kind of interact with the group, the more chances you have to win prizes, because I do give away prizes throughout the tour, usually a braid or two each week. And what I do is I pick from all the different places, and so I try and spread the prizes out. And then at the end, if you have been on the team, even if you don't want to participate in those threads, at the end, if you share a picture of everything you have spun during the tour, you are put in the running to win the grand prize, which is usually multiple braids or extra fiber or a gift certificate to the fiber shop of your choice. I always come up with good stuff to award. I'm giving you Hello Yarn fiber and various other fibers, so it's always fun. But I don't have the prizes picked out yet. I will pick those out before we start the tour, but I'm just not quite there yet. I'm trying to think what else. You can play from anywhere in the world. You can play using anything you want. If you're a spindle spinner, that's great. If you have a charka, if you have a spinning wheel, pretty much anything you want. This is technically for spinners, so this is not going to encompass quilting and knitting and crocheting, but that's because it's kind of a spinning event, so I can't help that. I'm trying to think what else. You can double and triple dip. If you participate in other groups, you need to follow their rules, but I don't care if you use the same fiber you spun in somebody else's group and share it in our group. There are no limits on what you can spin, like in terms of what kind of fiber or what dyer it's from or those kinds of things. My group is really easy on the rules. I just want people to spin and have fun and cheer each other on and share photos, because I love looking at the photos. So Tour de Fleece is one of my favorite times of year. You do not have to watch the tour. I do watch the tour. That is part of the fun for me. But you do not have to. My goal, given that now many years I try and spin a couple pounds of fiber up, my goal this year, given that I have had some trouble with my wrist, is I just want to spin for at least 15 minutes a day. And I don't think that will be much of a problem, but my guess is my production will not be as high as it has been in some years. Some years I do nothing but spin the entire 3 weeks, and I can spin up several pounds of fiber. I would not expect that to be the case this year, because I probably won't spend that much time at it, and I don't want to overtax things. So I think those are the details I can think of. If I missed anything, comment. Let me know if you have questions. The only thing you have to do if you want to be part of the team is, if you want to be part of the team and considered for prizes, you have to tell me you've joined the team so I have some idea. But other than that, it's really just spin, have a good time, and, you know, share the fun with others around you. So if you're interested, start thinking about what you might like to spin. Again, we don't start till June 29th, but dust your wheels off, oil them up, you know, do what you need to do to keep your wheel in good form. Think about if you want to spin for a project or a goal, or if you just want to spin for a few minutes a day, or if you want to learn how to spindle spin or supported spindle spin. I mean, any of those things. There are tons of lovely vendors who will do special Tour de Fleece colorways and updates beforehand. So gather your fiber and get ready to go. And I will look into starting our official team this week, and I'll put together some more information and I will post it in all the places. It'll be on my Instagram, it'll be on Ravelry in the Corner of Knit and Tea group. I do have a group there, although I don't do a lot with it these days because I know some people are not able to use Ravelry. There is also a Corner of Knit and Tea on Facebook, which is, I think I call it Spin It to Win It, or Spins Team CKT. I can't remember what I call it, but I will put the link in the box below this episode, and it will be probably in the YouTube description of most of the forthcoming episodes from now through the tour. So I think that's all I have for you today. I hope that you're doing well. I wish you a lovely, lovely week ahead, and I will see you again soon. So happy knitting, happy spinning, sewing, embroidering, happy sipping, and I'll see you next week. Bye.